Hello, friends. Hey, I am sorry I am so late. I am really sorry about that. I was looking at the clock in my craft room and it says 9:30 still. And I didn't check my phone or my watch, so I am sorry about that. Yes, so let's see if some of you are still on and can find me. Let's look for us on the computer here, see if we can get some messages. I did not even realize that I was late until I just got a message from Kathy Wilkerson. So I am so sorry. I have a fabulous technique class today for you. So I hope you can find me. Let's see once here. And make sure I have everything turned on correctly before we begin. There we go. The volume is now up. I am so sorry. I thought, boy, the time is really going slowly. It must be because the battery must be dead or almost dead or slowing down in my phone or my clock on the wall. I am so sorry about that. But anyway, if you are still around, yes, please check in. Okay, I am going to just go ahead and start. I haven't seen anyone yet, but I'm sure you'll find us. Give me just 1 second here. Okay, now I'm sorry about that, but I at least told Kathy that I am online. Sorry, I had no idea. Okay, let me just remind you, we have a few more days left to register for the Adventure Begins for Paper Pumpkin. It looks like a really fabulous one. The last two have been really outstanding, so you don't want to miss this. It's called Adventure Begins. And then we also have, right now we have going on the Designer Series paper sale. There are 9 different papers that are all a couple dollars off. So it's a great deal. And don't forget, we have our mini catalog that's going to be starting in a month. Of course, we as demonstrators get to pre-order that now, as well as the celebration. So anyway, those two things are pretty exciting. I did pre-order last week and I didn't expedite it, but so I would guess it hasn't even shipped yet. And with the holiday, if I'm lucky, I'll get it Friday. So anyway, let's see if anyone is watching. Oh, I just am so sorry about this whole thing. I'm 15 minutes late, but anyway, today we are going to play with the vellum and alcohol technique. And let me tell you what, it is fabulous. I've used it quite a bit, and I'm really having fun with it. We're going to be creating papers that look like this, like this, like this, and then we're going to make some pretty cards. So let's see what we can come up with. I'll show you how it works, and we're going to start. Let me turn the camera down. So close your eyes for a minute. Here we go. Okay, I have a bottle of rubbing alcohol. This is 91%. This is extremely important. It would be better to even have the 99. I've ordered that from Amazon, but normally the pharmacies will just have either less than this or 91. But it dries very quickly, so it's wonderful. So you need to use this, and then some vellum paper. So our vellum looks like this, a big package of it. It comes with 20 sheets, and it's not very expensive, and it lasts a really long time. And so what we're going to do, let me get a piece of paper in here first. I'll just use the back of something, some typing paper. Put it like this so that you can see that. It's always easier. Here's a piece of vellum. I have one rule about vellum. That's just my own personal rule. I only put vellum on white. So look at the difference that makes, like on a piece of white. So I like to work on a piece of white. And this is what we're going to do. I've got a piece of vellum cut here. I've got several pieces, and it's bigger than our card needs to be. So we're going to be doing 2 cards using this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay down some color, and then I'm going to work with some of this rubbing alcohol. Okay, let's see. I'm going to use my darkest color first. Doesn't make any difference what you use. I'm going to use these are all blends. These are alcohol markers. They dry quickly. So I'm going to use the broad tip. And you don't want to use the tip. You want to use the side. And I'm just going to lay down color like this. Just keep laying it down. Just put it in different places. Just lay it down thick. Just using some colors that would be like we might find in water is what I'm going for. Let's move this up a little bit. There we go. Okay, next I'm going to add some Pool Party. This is my very favorite color to use in a project that's dealing with water. I'm going to fill it in. Fill it in all over. Like that. Like that. And then I'm going to add a little bit of green, Granny Apple Green. Just going to put a little bit here. You don't have to even touch things, but just a little bit. I think I'll go back and add a little bit more Pool Party. I almost always use like the dark Pool Party, the dark Granny Apple Green, because the lights just become so, they sort of, you can barely see them on vellum. So let's see once. Here we go. Okay, we're done with that. I'll set those aside for a second. And now I'm going to just put some little alcohol. Sometimes I just pour it in the cap, but I'm going to pour it in a little cup today. You can take any kind of, there are all kinds of brushes that you can use. I'm just taking one of our what are they? Water brushes. It's empty. It's empty. This is another one. So, you just are going to take your brush, dip it in the alcohol, and then let it just bleed like this. I'm just tapping it, adding a little bit more alcohol, like that. Pretty wet. I'm sort of rinsing it out a little bit. You don't want it to bleed too much. You don't want it to get muddy. So like there, that I can see is getting a little bit muddy, and you can sort of blow it. Here's a little bit that hasn't been wet. You want that alcohol to make it blend. There we go. You can take a straw, and I'm going to set that aside so we don't spill it. And you can take a Kleenex or a paper towel and dab the edges. This will dry quite quickly. Actually, I'm going to set this aside, and I like it. It looks pretty good. You could add, maybe I have a little bit too much of the Bermuda or the peacock color, and we need a little bit more blue, but that's, you get the idea. It's never going to turn out, they will always be different. I understand I've not used the 99%, but the I think there's a 70 something. That one really curls the paper a lot. The 91 will curl your paper, but the one that's 99% is supposed to really keep it flat. Sometimes I take a large block like this and just lay it on top, let it sort of smush. And you can always clean alcohol off your fingers or off your block with more alcohol. Just takes it off. I'm going to just set that aside, and we can come back to it in a little bit because I have other things that I've made that we're going to use. So we're going to make this whale card. Let's see if we have it. Oh, hi, Linda Wilmuth. I'm glad you're watching. I was so late. My it must be the battery in my clock or something. Anyway, here I am thinking, boy, the morning is I really have a lot of time. I really didn't, but I was late. Okay, we're going to do this. Do you see how I cut this out? I did that with a diorama. So these are the stamps that we're using today. I have quite a collection here. First of all, we're going to be using the Well Done diorama stamps, and these are in the back of the catalog. It's a standalone, and boy, is it neat. I still don't know how to use it real well, but I like what I've done today. So I have played around with it a little bit. I did this, and I think it'll get better as I use it, but these all stand up with that diorama. That's some of the artistic paper. This one is just one of the cutouts like that. So I don't love those cards a lot, but, and here's another. They were my first ones, and I just wasn't positive what I was doing. Here's another one I did with the alcohol. This one I did in a diorama like that. And then we are using, so I'm not sure what page that's on, but it's a really good one. It's a good set, and I think we're going to use it a lot. Anyway, then we are using, here's another one we're using. Oh, here's the sympathy card I did with this same, I just punched that out with the postage label and turned it into a sympathy card, embossed that. Real easy card. We're going to be using the Seascape today, and that's a wonderful set with lots of dies. And then we're using, I'm using this cutting line that's from Inspired Thoughts. We are using Well Done with the punch, and that is from last year, but it's carried over, and I'm so glad. And then we are also using the Sailing Home. We're using one of the dies for the Seaweed. Really love that. I hope they never retire that set, but they probably will. Anyway, let's see what's here. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring in the pieces to make this card, and then we'll see how our alcohol is, and we'll do that die cutting. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my little pieces. So if you want to take a screenshot of any of these sizes, you can. This is from the tape labels for stamping, the In Good Taste, I think it's called. I've got some vellum cut. You want to see, I've got two different colors. I've got some pieces for stamping. I like these genial gems. They just have a little bit of sparkle, and I love that color that sort of looks like a sea. I don't know what color it is exactly. But here are the sizes of the things that we need. And it is, let me just stand up for a moment. Now this is where you'll want to take a screenshot. So my base is the evergreen, and it's 5.5. Oh, it's not 5.5. I am totally wrong about that. It is, I'll just rewrite that for you. This happens to be a 4.25 by 11, scored at 5.5. So we always have two sides of card bases, and this one is the top folding like that, so it'll stand up. So 4.25 by 11, and then the next piece is the white piece, and this is in eighths. So I have 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And then the pool party is going to go on top of it like that. So that one's 3 3/4 by 5. And this is, we're going to stamp on this one. So, but I'm doing more with the ace, but I don't really have those sizes memorized as much. But they really make for a beautiful layer, I think. So we'll put that on our, I didn't use the white on the last card, but I really felt like it needed something. Do you see what I mean? I just felt like it needed a pop of white to carry out that white and the white in there. So that's why I'm doing it this time. I think it'll be much better. And here's our part for stamping. We'll put that aside. And then for our inside, we have a piece that is 4 by 5 1/4. And there we go. Like that. We'll take that off and we'll do some stamping in there. And now we're going to come and bring this in, and these are going to be, we're going to need our foam mat with this because we're going to use our photopolymer stamps. So let me bring those in. I've got this little table set up, and I've just got a lot of things going on sitting here. And I'm going to stamp with some Versamark. That gives you a watermark. You know, it's clear. It looks like this. You always want to keep it upside down when you're storing it. This is a pretty new. This is not the one I usually use for embossing. That one is dirty. So this one, I'm just going to stamp just constantly like this, just all around the edges. Just sort of, Versamark is a stickier ink, and that's why we use it for embossing, because the embossing powder will stick to it. So but it will also, it almost looks like I'm using Pool Party ink here, but I'm not. I'm using Vers. You could use Pool Party. It would be a little darker than that, but I think you just want a little bit of an edge, like that, and that should do it. That's good. And put my dirty stamp right over there. And now we're going to put, which do you like better? Do you like this color like this? This is the soft succulent. This one is the, well, we'll wait and see. I think we'll do our die cutting next. Oh, we better do our stamping. We better do our stamping of, before we do that, we better stamp our words on the top. So let's do that first. And then we can let that'll be drying. And I think we'll do, let's see. My love for you is bigger than the ocean. Let's try that. We'll do one. I just have an extra one there just in case always. So we'll do, and I'm going to use the, I think we'll use the soft succulent. Get that inked up really well and give it a, there we go. Isn't that pretty? And I'm going to make it into a birthday card. So let's bring in our card again, and we'll just put a birthday, and it's going to be a belated one. So it's from one of my favorites that carried over. Oh, I'm so happy. Happy little bit late birthday. I use that one a lot. So I always have a lot of birthday cards that I need to send. So that will work right there. And we'll set that aside. And now we'll bring in our little cut and emboss machine. I've got the little one set up. Let's see. And you can see this. It's not quite dry. I'm just going to quite honestly, I like to let them dry for several hours. They dry much faster, but I'll be anxious to see how that 99% works. So, Carla, you're not late. I was 15 minutes late because the battery in my wall clock is dying, I guess. I was just waiting, so you are not late. Anyway, this, I already have a piece cut, so we'll let that dry. Actually, it's always good to do this and set. You can do several. You know, whenever you're going to make this little bit of a mess, it makes sense to do several. So, and I like to have them sit out at night and let them dry completely. So I've got my little platform here. This is number 1 and number 2 for my little mini. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to die cut this piece of the diorama. And this is a piece that I did before. And I actually did these all before I went on my trip this weekend to Idaho. So anyway, I'm going to take a piece of white because I want to have my white piece exactly the same size. And I'm just going to put them together like this. So I can cut both of those, I think, at the same time. So I'm going to put them in my machine. They'll fit. And then I'm going to make this ways where to hold on to the handle so it doesn't slip. And I am going to go back because I have two pieces in here. There we go. A handy little thing for videos for sure. Most of the time I don't use it. I just use my big one. I really like it a lot. So here we go. Just take this piece off. And I honestly do not throw anything away because you can punch out flowers or butterflies, or you can do little slivers to do for an inside of a card or whatever you want. So this one is just a little bit smaller than the other piece that I showed you. These two are going to go together like that. And now I'm going to set, so this one, this is, so they've got 3 of the large and then 3 that are different sizes. So it's really sort of a cool set. It's one that you might not see. So, but it's a really sort of fun. And I am just beginning to play with it. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to look at my piece. I think that's the top side. I like to have that part up first. You know, this vellum does not, I don't really worry too much about it seems to not show very much. Mostly you would use Tombow glue, little dabs of Tombow, but I've just been using this. So I'm just going to put this together, but you see how that really pops when you add that white to it? I think it's really, really nice. So now we can make our card. Let me set that aside and bring in my card. So we've got this piece right here with the fish, and I'll put that down like that. Don't feel badly, Carly. You were not late. I was really late. I had no idea. And I probably would still be waiting had Kathy Wilkerson not texted me. Okay, there is our card. And now we're going to put in some. So do you like that one better? Like that? Or do you like the darker one? One is evergreen. This one's evergreen. So what do you girls think? I don't know. I like both of them quite well. That sort of pulls in the darkness of the card. We'll go with that. Doesn't make any difference, really. I have so many pieces cut and ready to go because I'm always experimenting to see what's going to work. One thing I did forget to do was I forgot to stamp our little whale. So we need to do that before we go any further. So I'm going to set that off to the side for a minute, and let's bring in our whale. So we've got our whale stamp, and we will just give him a try with some evergreen. We'll get that stamped up. We'll give him get it all stamped up, and we're going to put it like this. That looks good. And we'll put a little whale on the envelope like that. And I think what we're going to do on the inside is put a sea turtle. So let's put the sea turtle on the inside of our card, and then we can finish it up. Happy birthday, little bit late. And the sea turtle, this is all from Whale Done. Oops, there we go. Now I'm in the camera. So I've got a whole pile of dirty stamps here, but okay. And let's see, once here we have I think that's the rest. That's all of our stamping for this card, and I'm gonna set that right there. There's such a delay that I have to make sure that I've got my tripod is sort of falling here. There we go. And now I'm just going to take my adhesive. It's not going to show. Just tilt it any which way you want. And now I'm going to put this piece on. I don't know, you can, I think we'll just do that. I'm not putting too many layers on because I'm thinking about postage always, and the whale is going to be popped up. So I don't want that to have too many layers. Okay, isn't that pretty so far? And now we're going to take our whale punch. So if you didn't get this last year, oh my goodness, this is the great set to own for sure. And now you're just going to punch that out. It has some little splash or things from his blowhole, some little splashes. We're going to use gems instead. There we go. And there he is, isn't he? He's a cutie. I made tons of cards with this last year. I was so thrilled they kept it in the catalog. And I'm just going to add some Winkostella. Winkostella is great. So like that, that'll be good. So we'll pop him up, but first we're going to put a little bit of seaweed on, and let's see, we're going to bring in some of this. I love our vellum, the shimmer vellum. Oh my goodness, it is so cool. I've got lots of things cut on the next card too. We're going to use it, but we're going to use this darker evergreen one, and we'll put it on like that. And I think we'll add a sprig of this plain vellum too. And I'm going to have this. I'm going to get my little silicone mat because you know me, I cannot do much without it. Now you could use glue dots, of course, but I am trying to keep it going as fast as possible. So we'll just use regular glue. But I want this piece to be loose. I've got seaweed all over my pants down below. So we've got a little bit of extra glue in there, but that's okay. Just like that. And, you know, I might add a glue dot here or there too. What I think I'm going to do is add a dot on his eye right here with a Sharpie. There we go. I think that's just emphasizes that a little bit more. And now we'll add some adhesive. And I think we'll do this. And we'll just cut a little piece like that. And it'll be fast. Like this. Okay. And we'll just put it like that. Now if I can find my little piece that I stamped. Oh, here it is. My love for you is bigger than the ocean. I'm not sure if that's the best one for birthdays, but that's what we did. So we'll just use a big piece like this. It's a little bit bigger than it needs to be for sure. But it's what's in my little dish. Handy. There we go. I think we better put a little piece under that end that I just cut off. There. Okay, and now I think we're almost done, except for some of these genial gems, and they're just, looks like I only have big ones left. Let's see I have another pack right here, a brand new pack. I really like having two different sizes. So we'll take your pick tool. Let's It gets a little globby sometimes. This is a brand new, I just put a new interchangeable piece on top and the glue is coming out all over. And so now I'm going to take a big one and I'm going to have it by a spout, sort of. And then I'm going to take some smaller ones going up like this. I just sort of pull them off. That's 3 so far. So let's see once. I think maybe we'll add a big one right down there. And then a big one on top. And there we have it. Our card is finished. And let's see what that looks like compared to the other ones. Here's our envelope with our whale on that. And I'll put these up on for display today after I take pictures. So do you see how, there's a little bit of excess. This one I use those clear or silvery things, whatever they're called, I can't remember. But do you see how they're all sort of cool? This one I use the soft succulent. This one I use the evergreen. So they're all sort of different. This one I did whale done, like a congratulations card. I think that's pretty neat. Very, very fun. And let's just bring in our little piece that I did that technique on now. Let's see how it's drying. Let me see once here. So it's actually completely dry now. It doesn't look so good always on the grid paper. But I always think the worst thing in the world is when someone puts, and sometimes people don't know this, but I learned this a long time ago. I learned it from Shirley Hotop back in Farmington, Missouri. But you see how that just doesn't do anything for it. But when you put in a white piece, here's a white envelope, but do you see how much nicer that is? It's so much clearer and crisp. So anyway, I hope you will try that technique. And now we're going to go on and do our next card. I have no idea what time it is because obviously the clock is wrong ahead of me. This is what we're going to make. And it is from this stamp set called Seascape. Wasn't real fond of it when I first saw it in the catalog, but oh my goodness, I really love it. It's really crisp and it has these wonderful dies. Today we're going to use the coral like that, and we're going to use the fish. I've got the fish sort of taped there. They are together, but I've taped them too, but I usually cut things at the same time. Now this is like a betta fish, I guess, I'm not sure what it's called, and a seahorse, and I've done things with both of those. They're sort of different kind of dies. They like on the seahorse and the betta fish, they leave a little points that are still intact that you can just snip away with the scissors. So, but they're pretty cool. So this is a fun card. I saw this from Patty Bennett. So it's a sort of a case from her, and oh my goodness, I love it. Let me show you how I do we'll start these, start this out. I'll bring in our pieces. Okay, got an envelope to stamp on. Okay. So this one is 4 1/4 by 11 again, scored at 5 1/2. This is another pool party, and I'm pretty close with my pool party today. Sometimes I'm not positive in the morning when I'm looking at my closet or the night before. So what we're going to do first of all, and this is going to be a little bit messy. This is my white, just my basic white 4 by 5 1/4, and what I'm going to do is do some sponging now on this. Bring in my pool party ink and my brush. This is my blue designated brush. I love these. They're coming back, they're out of stock. They've been out for quite a while. I think they're coming back July 12th. So there'll be a lot of things coming in shortly. So I'm going to ink up my, whatchamacallit, brush, sponge, and this is really important. You always want to start off the paper. Start off and go on. You want to start off and go on. Start off and go on. That one I started a little too close. Start off and then work your way on. Otherwise, you'll get marks like that. So it's always better to just I really like blending with these brushes. They're very, very nice. I'm going to leave. I want my edges to be darker. So you can see how as you go in toward the middle, it gets lighter and lighter. That'll be just fun. Oh, maybe a little bit over there. You can take as much time with that. I'm going to be as quick as possible with that. And now we are going to stamp our, if I can find my ink, we'll stamp our Seaweed, and this is from the Seascapes. So I'm going to bring in my mat for the piercing mat so that we can work on that. Some bubbles. We'll do that with the pool party. So I'm going to do this with the evergreen. Open that up, and we're going to give this. I love this Seaweed stamp. It's really a good one. So we want it to, I'm going to just put it down, and then I'm going to just stamp it a second time. Do you see how much lighter that is? So I'm going to give it a good ink, and then I'm going to go off. We have a lot of that. And let's see what's here. We need a greeting. What do I have? Let's see. What have I sort of chosen for that? The stamp set comes with, just thought you should know how wonderful you are. I have that. I'm here for you always, or thank you. But I think I'm going to put, you're kind of a big deal, just because I need another birthday card. And I think that works. You're kind of a big deal, so it's a special day. So I'm going to ink that up, and I'm going to put that right there. That's from the Whale Done set. There we go. And I think we can close that up now. Then we have our little bubbles. I'm going to bring the pool party in, and we're just going to put some bubbles just like this. And I'm using full strength on that. So I'm going to have the fish coming this way, so I don't think I need any over there. Maybe just a little bit right there. I think I'll use a fish now to cover that part up that I double stamped it. So that's a cute little stamp. So let's bring in some Calypso Coral now for our fish. I'm going to set that aside. What I have found is that I've got a whole little container of fish here. So we're going to, I really like, here's one I die cut from some of that paper. You can see that little marbly paper. But we're going to do some inking on the edges of these. Here's another, this is papaya. Here it is out of the shimmery vellum, and you can see how shimmery that is. What I like to do is take my, you can take your sponge, or you can take a sponge dauber like this, and this is just plain Calypso ink, and I just kept this all together, and I'm just gonna, it's almost easier if you just leave it in before you snip some of it out. This is a little heavy-handed there, but then I'm going to put a little bit on the fish like that. Just a little dab. Give it a little definition on the top. Let me see this little fish. There we go. And that should do that. Oh, We need to stamp our fish though. And well, here's how the coral, I'm just going to pop, it comes out. It's sort of like that lilac set that we had a few months ago. And now you could actually lift this up with your piercer, all these little pieces, which, you know, if you're watching TV and you want to do that, that's fine. But I don't have time to do that most of the time. Do you see how it just pops up? But it's really pretty when you do that inking on your pieces when it's still attached, if possible. So there's that. Now let's do we forgot to do our fish. So let's do our big fish. And this is a nice stamp. Here we go. We'll just stamp it like this. I think maybe I did it in the, it's a little darker than I had planned. I think I did it in pale papaya. Anyway, I don't know. So we're going to use this one I've already cut out. So I can always, these you have to fussy cut, you know, and I don't mind doing that at all. So, and one more thing too, I want to put some fish on the inside of our card. So, let's see, do I have a piece for the inside? I don't know, whether or not. I always have a stack right next to me though. This will be fine, we'll do that. We're going to stamp a few fish out of Calypso with those. And these fish are a little bigger than the ones that I used previously. They are from the, they're from this set. So we'll just put that on the inside of our card. Now, that was not probably very smart. I should put the fish up here and right down there, but I didn't. So we'll just work on it that way. Actually, we could also turn it over. Maybe that would be a better idea. And let's turn it over and use this gorgeous coral. That would be, I like that idea better. So I think we'll do that, and we'll do that out of the Calypso coral. It's a big stamp, so I'm going to stamp it upside down. And I'm just going to put this like this on the corner. Isn't that pretty? And then we can bring in our stamp at the same time. And we'll put that right here. We'll just do a little corner of it down there. And then our envelope will be decorated. It won't be naked. So that'll be nice. Okay, we have just a little bit more to stamp. I'm going to set that over there and these little pieces right here on my little fish. But this part we're going to stamp is going to be the sand. And what I've done is I have cut this out from that inspiring thoughts that Sympathy and Christmas set. So I've used the sponge, the foam sponge. Did you see how this is? So I actually have two pieces because I cut a piece and then I put the middle piece in between, or you could hand cut it, either way. And now I'm going to peel off a piece and put I'm just going to put this on top like that. Now I'm going to I don't like to use my good scissors for anything that's sticky, so I'm going to use this Tim Holtz scissors. I've got like 6 scissors in front of me. So here's the part now we're going to stamp. We're going to stamp right on that, and I'm going to bring in, in this set of stamps, there is a set of sand. Do you see that right there? Well, that's what we're going to do. And this is completely, on the last card I used espresso and crumb cake and soft sand. This time I'm going to change it up. I'm going to use cinnamon cider, so we'll see how that looks. I don't know. I don't really have any idea. We'll just give it a shot and see. I'm just going to stamp it full strength, half strength, just keep stamping. Full strength, a little bit. Oh, I like it. I like that. It looks like the sand color, I think. Now I'm going to use some crumb cake. So we'll put the cinnamon cider out of there. And I'm just going to clean my stamp right here. So now I'm going to use crumb cake. Just add lots of ink. Do you see how it's filling in? Pretty good. We'll add just a little bit more. This time we're going to use soft suede. I'm just making up these colors. This could be a little dark, so I don't want it to be too dark. This is going to give our card a little bit of depth. And our sand is finished. So that's good, I think. Let's see what's here now. Move my piercing mat out of the way and bring in our card. Here's our card. And now I'm going to, this is going to be the coral. we're going to just sort of lay this down. Let's see, I'm going to put this up in my screen a little bit. My tripod's falling down. I want this to be able to, to tuck behind it. So maybe right about there. I'm going to put some adhesive down on that. Keep the rest of it sort of loose. And then I am going to put my sand on like this. I'm just going to peel that off now. Do you see how thick that is? Hi, Cindy. Good to see you this morning. I'm glad you found us too, since I was so late. I'm going to have to now climb on a chair and change the battery in the clock on the wall. I never even thought about looking at I had my phone already in the tripod, so I once I do all that, I don't touch it. And it seemed like, boy, it's a long half hour of just waiting and waiting. And anyway, I'm going to cut it from the back. You always get a better cut that way. And there we have that. And now we can put this on our card base. Just going to like that. So give this a good little, I like the pool party. Do you see how I've used pool party card with the pool party sponging? I think it gives it a nice little feature. And now we're getting close to being finished. I'm going to add this to the inside. There's our piece. I like the coral a lot better than the fish where I stamped them. That was sort of silly. I was just trying to hurry. That's a pretty inside now, I think, for you're kind of a big deal, and you could do happy birthday. That's what I have on my block, but I think we'll skip it for now. Okay, now let's put our fish on, and this is our fish, and I think I'm going to give him a little bit of Wink of Stella, and he needs that for sure. This fish should be a little sparkly. So we get a couple dimensionals for that. And there we go. Okay. It's really a good looking fish, I think. Really like it a lot. And then we're going to add our little fish that we did some shimmer work on. Oh, they're sort of flying away. Here's the goldfish even. Here's one of the vellum ones. This one's going the other way. Maybe I don't know how that happened, but that's okay. I guess it can do that, right? I must have done it upside down or something. That's just fine. We'll put the little vellum one. We're going to put that one flat also. I can just see that I forgot to put some seaweed in here. Some of my, oh yes. It needed some seaweed, didn't it? I think I'll just have to, let's see, once lift this up, it's going to be really a struggle. I think I'll cut, don't know, that would look silly, but maybe I can dig under there, and let's see if we can lift this up. I bet you were all sitting there thinking, oh, she's forgotten the seaweed. There we go. We'll just press that down, and I had some more seaweed over here, but I don't know if I can, Hey, if I can do another one. I think I'll just call it good. Just leave that seaweed off. But anyway, you see that you get the idea. And this shimmer vellum is fabulous. You know, you can also do the alcohol ink technique like we were just doing. You can, so here's that card. Let me just bring in the other ones real quickly. Here's that piece that we did. And I'll save that for another project. And I like collecting those because it's really, really quite a fun technique to do with the rubbing alcohol. So if you missed it in the beginning, go back. These both all have seaweed on both sides, which I like better, but it's okay. But you see, I like that sand better. This one I used espresso and it's a little darker, but you get the idea. And hi, Martina. I'm so glad you like the cards. Super. Okay, we forgot the gems again, and we're going to use those genial gems because we can. They're so pretty. They're really a great set. And you know, in the Christmas catalog, the ones we had last year that are similar with I think red or real red or cherry cobbler, I'm not sure which ones. We're going to use the green. We're just going to put some of these in bubbles like that. I'm just sliding them off. Sliding them onto the, I'm going to, oh, I don't like it there. It's too close to the other one. But just slide a bunch of gems on. My putty is really coming out of this one. So I'll do one more. Let's see how many we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's good. We'll stop at 7 because we don't need 8. Uneven numbers are always more attractive or appealing. So there we have it for today. And let's see where our envelope is. Oh, here it is. I'll take pictures of these later and put these online. And sort of fun. I hope that you will all try this alcohol technique. Everything. Each and every piece of alcohol will look different. Let me show you. Again, some of the ones that I made. Do you see how different each one is? Some have, this one looks like it has more of the Bermuda Bay or peacock or whatever it is. This one has a little bit more of the, like that one has more evergreen or something. I guess I didn't bring the other card that I made with this really cool seashell. I had it posted on my crafting creations for Corinne, which is that's my business page on Facebook. So I post things there every single day. You can always go there and take a look too. So let's turn the camera up. And there you go. I hope you all, we didn't even get to talk about weekends because everything was so late. I hope you all had a great weekend. We sure did. We really enjoyed going to Idaho. We flew there in a little tiny 4-seater plane, and it was quite an experience. It's a very, very steep canyon walls, and the Salmon River is below, and it's very isolated. There are no roads at all. You can't get there by road. You can either get there by a small plane, helicopter, or by a jet boat. A lot of people go rubber rafting on those salmon if they draw the lottery numbers for those raft trips. It's like a 5 or 6 day raft trip. There's nothing in between, no towns, anything. Anyway, the ranch was beautiful, and it was very relaxing. I enjoyed our time with Andrew and Chrissy and Jack. So we had fun. Andrew and Chrissy have done a beautiful job remodeling the cabins and decorating, and it's really pretty nice. So we had a good time. I didn't do any stamping or crafting. I brought some things with me, but I just never got to it. I was busy or just relaxing, so it was very hot there. Much hotter than in Montana. So it was almost 100 degrees all the time, except at night. Don't forget, demonstrators get to pre-order, so I take advantage of that. And otherwise, August 2nd, or is it August 3rd, is the beginning of the new catalog for customers. So Anyway, that's it for today. So thank you for finding me. I'm so sorry I was late. I'll try to do better next week. Everything between batteries are not technology, so I should have been on top of it. But anyway, hope you have a great week, and I hope you'll try this alcohol technique on the vellum. There are tons of techniques, videos on YouTube, lots and lots of people. Patty Bennett has lots of good ones, lots of different things. She's done some vellum embossing with embossing mats, folders, and then done some alcohol ink. But there are all kinds of people out there that have done these, so it's very fun. Hope you'll give it a try, and I'll see you next week, hopefully on time. Thanks. Have a good week. Bye.